Welcome back. At the beginning of the movie we are told that in 1832, a chemistry doctor called Iosif Gamel presents his thesis to the Imperial Science Academy of St. Petersburg, which says that the new lens made out of a new type of silver can not only capture light, but also a person's soul. This proves to be true despite the Academy rebuking Gamel, resulting in the creation of a ritual, in which the souls of dead people are transferred into another body. We then see a photographer named Victor preparing to take a photo of his dead wife, with carved-out wooden eyes planted on her eyelids. Now as he is about to click her photo, his wife's head bows down. He goes back and sets her head tight, but the second time also her head bows down. Seeing this, he gets very upset, and when he goes to set it again, he realizes that someone is behind him, but there is no one there. And after that, he finally manages to capture her photo. He then travels to a village, and here we learn that his wife Olga had died a few hours back, and he is planning to transfer his wife's soul into a young peasant girl through his wife's ring. He arrives to find the villagers protesting, and a man tries to stop him and says that he will not let him do this, but Victor shoots and kills him, which scares all the villagers. He then puts the ring on the girl's finger, seals her in the coffin with the dead wife, and prepares to bury the coffin, when it suddenly begins to violently shake. Seeing this, he and the villagers get very scared, and then a hand comes out breaking the coffin, and when the photographer opens up the coffin, that Olga's soul has been transferred. Then he writes in his journal that it was several days since Olga has not returned yet. Her new form was strange for him, but he knows that as long as the film retains, her soul will not be threatened. He hid the film, where no one can find it, and he is sure they will soon be together again. One day she awakens in her new body, but when he looks back, her body is not on the bed. And then he sees her standing behind him. He removes the cloth from her face and is surprised to see her, and Olga asks him what happened to her. To which he says she is alive again. She gets very scared seeing herself in her new form and asks him what he did. The scene cuts here. Out of respect for the young girl, I will be silent for 2 seconds. Okay, done, let's get back. In the present day, we see a college student named Nastia, and here we come to know that tomorrow she is getting married. We then see her with her fiancé Ivan, and Nastia tells her mom that he is a photographer. After that we see them getting married, and the next morning Ivan tells Nastia that he has to go to see his sister Lisa today. They arrive at his family's home, which is in the middle of the forest. Here Ivan introduces Nastia to his sister Lisa and her nephew and niece. Lisa welcomes her and tells her that their family is full of photographers and that their great-grandfather invented the daguerreotype. At dinner, Lisa welcomes Nastia to their family, and tells her the tent is ready. The guests will arrive the day after tomorrow, and after their family tradition, they will have the wedding. Ivan says that they are going back tomorrow, hearing that Lisa says that Nastia is now a part of their family, so she wants to give her something. She gives her a ring saying that it's their grandmother's ring. But we see that Ivan gets upset, and he did not want Nastia to take that ring, so he puts that ring back into the box and looks at Lisa in anger. Later, when Nastia is taking a bath, she hears some sound, and then the door opens automatically. She then sees herself passing by, due to which she gets quite surprised and comes outside to check. She thinks she is Lisa, but she sees clones of herself doing actions in a pattern. Suddenly Lisa comes there and Nastia does not understand what just happened. Now when Nastia wakes up late at night, she sees that Ivan is not in bed. She comes out looking for him and finds Ivan and Liza arguing about keeping Nastia here, and Ivan threatens to leave. The next day, while Nastia was looking at the photos on the wall, she hears some sound from behind. She finds ventilation there extending through the whole house. Just then Lisa comes there and Nastia tells her that she heard a voice from there, to which Lisa tells her sometimes children play there. Nastia then asks her where is Ivan, to which she tells her he has gone into town to see his friends. Lisa then leaves from there, and when Nastia calls Ivan, his number is not available. Later, Lisa shows her the photos of those dead people. She tells her they were the clients of their great-grandfathers. They had a studio of photography. At that time people used to think that they could deceive death, and so they would remain in the family. Then she shows her a wedding dress and asks her to try it. She tells her it's their grandmother's dress and asks her to wear it tomorrow for her wedding. The dress is inherited from mother to daughter, and while talking, she takes out Ivan's ring from her finger and wears her great-grandma's ring. Later, Nastia is watching a video on her laptop when suddenly she hears a sound coming from the cupboard. When she opens the cupboard, she finds a secret passage inside it, and there she finds Lisa's son. He asks her for help, telling her that Tanya got stuck on the wall. Then Nastia comes with him to the vent, and he brings her to Tanya. She sees that Tanya's leg got stuck in between some pipes and she frees her. But then she sees a room there. She sees that there is some old stuff lying there and also discovers the photograph of the bride hidden by Viktor at the beginning of the film, and outside we see a face coming out from the dark. Next, she calls Ivan again, but his number is still not available. Then she is making her hair in front of the mirror when she hears some sound and sees herself standing behind her. Seeing this, she gets terrified and runs out, but outside again she sees herself, causing her to fall and faint. Now when she wakes up at night, she goes inside the house, where she sees a maid running downstairs, from which Viktor asks about someone. Then a man stops him from going inside and says that she is very dangerous. But Viktor does not listen to him, and the man runs away in fear. And when Nastia starts moving toward that room, the door closes. Next, she wakes up on her bed and asks Lisa about Ivan, to which she says he will be back tonight. She then introduces her to a doctor named Agalaja, who checks her, and tells her there is nothing to worry about. Later, she sends a voice message to Ivan to inform him that very weird things are happening here, and she is leaving. Now when she's trying to escape from there, she hears Agalaja and Lisa, where Agija tells her that if something goes wrong, it will destroy them all, and they are in danger because of Ivan. Then as Nastia gets in the car to leave, she suddenly sees Agalaja walking nearby with a lantern. She follows her to the second house in the plot, where she finds her feeding and imprison Ivan, revealing that the family had locked him up inside after his argument with Liza, implying that the family wants Nastia to stay. Then when Agalaja leaves, Nastia tries to talk to Ivan, and when he notices her, he tells her to get out of there as she is about to come here. Then the lights turn off and Nastia starts bleeding from her nose. Then she hears some sound from behind and Ivan tells her to stop breathing and close her eyes. But before she could understand anything, she encounters a white-skinned spirit in a black wedding dress. She gets terrified seeing her and tries to flee, but falls into a pit. Then when she tries to come out, Lisa's father catches her and brings her back home. Here Agalaja gives her tea to drink, but when she refuses, they forcibly make her drink it, after which she faints. Now in her dream, she goes into the same period where she sees Viktor with his ill wife and sees that her eyes are completely red. She tells Viktor that she is dead, after which her body starts twitching. But then all of a sudden she gets up and starts looking into Viktor's eyes, which causes his eyes to bleed and he dies. After killing him, the bride turns around and says, "Let me take your body." She then tries to attack her, but Nastia wakes up the next day, with the wedding being prepared. She sees that everyone there is treating her well, and she also finds Ivan there, which she gets overjoyed to see, and he says that everything will be fine. Then Lisa and Agalaja come there and take her from there to show her something. While getting dressed, she looks at the photograph of the previous matriarchs of the family, and upon looking at their faces, she realizes that they are all the same person. She tells them it's the same woman she saw, to which they tell her it's their mom. Just then she sees Tanya there and goes behind her and then attempts to escape, but is bound up by the ritual members. They then start taking her somewhere, and when Ivan tries to help her, Agalaja stops him. Now Nastia is locked in a room where she encounters the living skeleton possessed by the spirit of the bride. Seeing it, Nastia gets terrified, and the skeleton starts moving towards her, but as it reaches her, Ivan rescues her and brings her out of the house. Now while driving her away in his car, he reveals that his family is cursed. The creature she saw in the bedroom is called Mother. She killed his mother and left his father invalid when he tries to kill her. Her body is dying, and she needs a new one, but the person should be related to someone in the family. He also reveals that the only way to destroy any more chances of soul transfer is to destroy the photograph of the bride. Nastia reveals that she knows where the photograph is, and only then they are T-boned by the ritual members, who capture Nastia and leave Ivan for dead. Nastia is brought back to the manor, where she gets the red diamond ring put on so that the bride's soul can be transferred. She is then sealed in the coffin and dumped into the ground. Nastia cries for help, but no one helps her, and then after a while, she gets terrified to see the spirit of the bride moving toward her, and then she possesses her. Agalaja and all the cult members watch the coffin shaking, and on the other hand, we see that Ivan had survived the accident. Here, when the coffin is opened, a possessed Nastia gets up and tells the people the body is ruined, before convulsing and falling back into the coffin. Seeing this, everyone runs away in fear, and Aglaja encounters the bride. She apologizes to her, but the bride screams and kills her. Here Lisa is leaving with her children when they are confronted by the bride. Meanwhile, Ivan makes it back to the house and finds the unconscious Nastia. Lisa asks her for mercy and says that they are just kids, and it's not their fault, and hearing this, bride disappears from there. But she reappears and screams, causing Lisa to fall out of the window, and the children flee to the secret passage. Now when Nastia and Ivan come inside the house, the injured Lisa begs them to save her children. Nastia remembers that photograph and tries to go to that room through the vent, and during this, the bride comes there and attacks Ivan. Nastia reaches the room where she encounters children, but the bride's spirit also appears there. And then Liza takes out the red diamond ring from Nastia, and tells her to leave with the kids. She then confronts the bride and puts the ring on herself, and is possessed by the spirit. Here Ivan breaks down a wall, and while Nastia is sending the kids out to him, Lisa appears and takes Tanya away. Nastia takes the photograph and goes to confront Liza. Liza looks at her and starts laughing, and she is about to kill Tanya. Nastia shows her the photograph, and she leaves Tanya. Lisa then tells her not to break the photo and suddenly attacks her, and she drops and loses the photograph in the process. Now as she is about to kill Nastia, the child calls out to her, snapping Liza out of her possession. She tells Nastia to take care of her children before sacrificing herself by breaking the lantern, allowing Nastia, Ivan, and the children to escape, and Nastia sees Lisa burning in the fire and dying. The four then come out of the house and leaves the place. A few years later, a new family arrives at the house, intending to purchase and renovate it. They notice a hole in the wall, and when they look through it, a figure slides past them. The end.